Peppy, say hi to everybody. Say hi. What's going on, Mom? Hi, everybody. This is Kelly, also known on Twitter as Kellyann1977. And I streamed very early yesterday. And I ordered some pizza from Pizza Hut. Something nice and easy to make. My husband went and did laundry and stuff. So while he was doing laundry, I streamed around this time again. Give a little bit of quick update. I then vacuumed the floor, cleaned the bathroom, waited for the pizza to come, had a few slices, went to bed very early. Was in bed for 5 hours, couldn't fall asleep. It's quite annoying. I might have dozed on and off for like an hour. Then I was up at 12:30. So I decided to, at 1 a.m. in the morning, sit down and do my report to finish it for my human bio class, which is on salmonella. And with this, you could go different ways with it. Salmonella is a bacteria, but it does different things to the body. So you could have talked about the food poisoning part, the infection part, if it makes it to your blood. There's a couple other things that it has technical names and illnesses that it does. I went back and forth within the food poisoning and what happens when it's untreated and goes into your bloodstream as an infection. So it ended up being 11 pages long with the cover letter that doesn't count. So 10 pages is what I'll get graded on. So I finished doing the 11 systems, but with one of the systems, it was quite difficult. I couldn't make a full paragraph, like a sentence. It starts with an E and I can't read it, but it has to do with your glands. And these are usually, it would affect the glands in your neck where your thyroid is. So it just talked about if this does attack your glands, then they'll swell up and they'll be sensitive. And if they get too large, they can burst. You bleed to death and die. But other than that, it didn't say anything else. So I couldn't really get a paragraph. She's expecting about 8 to 12 sentences. So I actually talked about that part of the organ system in my conclusion. So it's in there, it just wasn't large enough for me to include it. And 4 systems, I had to include together the reproductive system, the breathing system, urinary tract system, because you're not allowed to talk about any of the side effects. You do that in the beginning of this research report. So I was able to, there was 4 of them, I can't remember what the other one was, but I was able to put 2 of them together to make a paragraph, and then the two separate to make very small paragraphs. But again, I don't have a health book from a doctor learning about this, trying to be a doctor, where it would probably have more information, more in detail. So I asked my sister to help me out a little bit, and I included her as one of my resources, and the teacher liked the idea. So she just told me how you set it up and do it. So now I have an interview from a healthcare profession. She's a nurse, and she takes care of hospice patients right now. So she understands what it's like. She's been doing hospice work for about 6 years. I also have a niece who worked 4 years in the ER. She started internship, 6 months, in Georgia, and they hired her. They told her 2 weeks before her internship was over, which she got paid for this, $15 an hour. They told her that there was one spot open for the ER department, and they advised her to try to get it since she was graduating in 2 weeks. It would need a job. So she did get hired, and she started about 6 weeks later. She worked there for about 2 years, and she got a reference from them. And she's now in Miami, and college out there to go up the ladder. I believe she now wants to be a surgeon, if I remember correctly. She went back and forth with just being a regular nurse to maybe working with the elderly, but she can't handle that. The ER was very busy and tiring. It's not something that she wants to, see certain things every day. Then she was thinking about working as a nurse after women give birth, but then she doesn't like the sound of babies crying all the time. So I believe she is trying to do surgeon work now. So I do have a little bit of knowledge of this myself with being culinary arts student. You learned about salmonella. And I also have a food safety license. I pay $50 every 5 years, retake the test, and I get recertified with the license. I don't use it for anything, but it's good to have, and it's good to put on resumes. So this is why I just keep doing it. You need to pass the test with 85 or higher. So I did take a training class for a month, and you went Monday through Friday, and you went 8 hours a day. You took pre-test. You had to write small essays, answering questions in your own opinion. You had to watch videos. A couple of tours we had of places that failed health inspection and what happened. A hospital showing us what happened, food poisoning, which is salmonella. So I do have my own experience. So from 1 a.m. to 5:07 a.m., I worked on it and finished the rest of it. I just had to basically proofread everything that I already had, and then make my 2 graphs, and then do my references, where she wanted each reference to be set up a certain way, and you had to write it into a paragraph. So I finished doing that. I had to decide which ones I really wanted to use, other than my sister, because I had 15 different references. Some were articles, some were journals, some were study pair things with scientists and doctors. One that I did decide to include worked with 2 different male patients, one being 24 years old and healthy, who got salmonella infection from food poisoning, and the other gentleman being 88 years old with some health problems. And the same thing. Now the 24-year-old got sent home and said it was just food poisoning, you'd be fine, just, fluids, some rest, blah, blah, blah. If anything changes, gave warning signs, come back. A couple days later, he got rushed back to the hospital, and he had to have a 14-day treatment with antibiotics and have fluids replaced. The other gentleman was 88 years old, never left the hospital once he got rushed there from this. And he had to have a 4-week treatment. The younger patient, it affected his heart. He ended up having a heart attack while he was there, but he recovered from it. And the other patient was 88 years old. It started to affect his brain tissue. It made it swell up. So they had to correct that by giving some medicine to stop that. So these are both very serious things that happen. One was healthy, one wasn't. Basically, it was the same outcome. They both could have died. So this is very serious. It depends how it attacks your immune system and how strong your immune system is, no matter how healthy or unhealthy you are. So that case study, which has pictures of the heart that they did, the tests that they did. I had to go through all this stuff. The other patient, the 88-year-old, it was brain scans of the brain and the swelling and the different colors and what they meant. And how specialists had to come in for both patients and decide what was going to be the best treatment for them. So it was a lot to look through. It was about 15 pages long. And I've been doing basically just finding credible sources for about the past 3 weeks. But last week is when we finished the last chapter, and I was able to really dive into it without getting confused with what I was trying to study and test for. So then I had to go over the data that I had, decide what kind of graph I wanted to make. So I made 2 graphs. I made one graph that talks about in America from 2006 to 2016, which is just 10 years, how many people got sick. Just regular illness. It was, you knew it was food poisoning and you knew what you needed to do, and you took a test to figure this out with a stool sample. Food and the environment were actually, the food and person-to-person transmission was the 2 highest at a little over 17,000 cases. And then the other 3, which was water contamination, animal contact, and the environment, which is like farmers. 79, 200, 400, not really big thing. And then I did the second one in percentages, a 3D pie graph with the same things to show. And when I did it that way for deaths, people who actually died from this, person to person wasn't the highest one like I thought it would be. It was food contamination at 61%. Person to person contamination was the second highest at 26%. Something to look into. So I did that. That took me a while to do and figure out which one I wanted to. I was going through them all. I wanted it to look really good. So I finally got it done, and I submitted it. I submitted my second draft to my other research paper for my writing class. So I just have to revise it one more time and do my exam for my human bio class at my posting, reflection. And she should be opening that either sometime today or sometime tomorrow afternoon. And then a reflection is the only other thing in my journal for my other class. So I basically have 4 more things to do, and I'm done. So I just wanted to let everybody know that I did sit down and I did do this. And it did take me for my research report 6 hours to type up. I had this already pre-written out, and I copied it, and as I was reading it, I changed some wording. That helps me a lot. So just to write it out probably took me alone 4 hours to do. Then all the research. I would say about 15 to 20 hours to do this paper. She only wanted it no more than 9 pages, so I hope she doesn't take anything off, but there wasn't much I could do because I really needed to have both of these graphs as proof, because I talked about both the outbreaks and the deaths. So I just wanted to let you guys know. I hope you guys have a lovely Saturday, and as soon as I get some grades from this, I will let you guys know. Thank you for watching. I'm going to be posting another ASMR video sometime today. Bye, guys.